First of all, where is God? I ask people that question all the time, and I usually get two different answers, because a lot of people say God is in heaven, and on the other hand, a lot of people say God is everywhere. Now, according to the Bible, Psalms 82:6, it says, "You are gods." That's what it says. And John 10:34 says the same thing. You are gods. And here's the big problem we have with people, is that people try to interpret the Bible and try to tell you what they think it means, instead of just reading it word for word like any other book. And that can cause a problem, because the next person might say, no, it don't mean that. This is what it means. So it's best to read the Bible word for word, and you won't have no problem. So if the Bible says a man walked across the street, that's a period. A man walked across the street. You can't say, oh, the man really jogged across the street, or somebody rolled him across the street in a wheelchair, because the word walk really meant to jog or roll back in those days. You don't do that. You're not supposed to try to interpret the Bible and change the meaning of the words, because the Bible has already been interpreted and translated out of the original text into the English text so we can read it. And if the words from the original translation don't mean the same as the words in the English translation, then somebody made a mistake and we don't need the Bible. So if the Bible says you're a God, that's a period. You're a God. And when I tell people they're God, they be like, oh no, I ain't no God. And I say, oh yes you are. You just don't know it yet. And another thing, what do you mean you ain't no God? You don't believe in the Bible no more? This is the time you're supposed to believe in the Bible, when it says you are God. You believe everything else the Bible says. And so when the Bible says you are God, you can't believe it? You got to be joking. And you don't have to be rich to be God. Jesus wasn't rich, and he was God, and he did great things, and he said we shall do greater things. Now I ask you, how can we do greater things than God if we're not gods also?